Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Sorry I missed you last week. We had some workmen around the house first couple of days, and then on Wednesday, what I thought was my screens were going funny. Did a little bit of research, had someone to have a look at my PC, and it turns out my graphics card was faulty, so I got a new graphics card. I've updated Windows as well to Windows 11. I'm still having the problem with not being able to open Rhythmic for some reason. I've been on emails to them. Where is Rhythmic? Let me just show you. So let me just open Rhythmic. So if I open it there, I'll bring it in the screen in a minute. It'll just disappears. Where is it now? Okay, so that's what I get. You can see there's nothing in it because I've reset it, just disappears. Try again. I've tried everything I can think of. Comes up there, just disappears. I've had about half a dozen emails to them. I've deleted it God knows how many times. And nothing. It's just not working. The only trouble is if I get into a trade and for some reason it doesn't close. So what I tend to do now is if I get into a trade, I get into Rhythmic on my phone and just check everything's closed. The trouble is, it obviously closes Ninja Trader then, so I've got to reopen it and it's a bit of a pain. But they have said they've sent my information to the developers and they're going to get in touch and kind of see what happens. But I don't know. It's just not working for some reason. I really don't know why. So it's a bit of a funny week. I did manage to get it going last week. With the graphics cards, and I traded on Friday. But I'm on a bit of a dilemma at the moment. I'm considering stopping streaming permanently. I seem to trade better when I'm not streaming, and I seem to feel more relaxed as well. I can put a bit of music on. I can sit back a bit. It's just, you know what I mean? I've been sort of mulling it over. I thought about it a couple of weeks ago as well. It was about a month or so ago. So it's hard to say. I've been talking to a few people, seeing what they think, because obviously if I'm trading better and more relaxed, it kind of makes sense. But I do like having that connection, so I'm going to sort of think about it and see if I can't come to a conclusion. But it's a tough one, really. I do seem to trade better. And I feel way more relaxed. It's weird. Last time lasted 2 days before you felt. Yeah, I know. But I traded a couple of days last week. We had Monday, Tuesday. We had some workmen in the house. We had like a chimney breast that seemed to have a bit of damp on. So I had guys in plastering the room, and I traded Monday and Tuesday by myself, and I really enjoyed it. I felt relaxed. I had a bit of music on, and then kind of Wednesday, I had the problem with my graphics card. I got a new one Thursday, plugged it all in, upgraded, and I traded a bit Thursday afternoon and traded Friday, and I kind of really enjoyed it. You trade alone, it's peaceful. Yeah, I just find it relaxing. It's weird. I think part of my concerns were, would I take something a bit too risky? So I've got to keep myself focused, and I've got to just wait for setups. And just, when I take a setup, that's it. But, so it's a tough one. I'm still... Traders for it's a tough one. I do think I see what it was last time. I did it last time. I was going to stream for 30 minutes and then go on to the to a Discord. The trouble is as you guys know, I do spend time flicking between Thomas's and Dan's. But then when I added a third one, I found I didn't quite have time, which is why I decided to stream. So what I may do, because I did Dart chart, well, it's another thing as well. I've found I've been getting headaches a little bit later in the evening. I did a little bit of research and staring at a white screen all day. And my wife said, she was watching me the other day, she said, you look like you was on drugs. You was like this. You know what I mean? So I changed it part of last week just to see if it'd make a difference. And I've got to say, I find it much more relaxing. The trouble is, I've got 4 screens. I've got 2 wide screens and 2 sort of standard size screens. And when you're glaring at white screens for 4 hours a day, it's almost like kind of like a snow blindness in a, that type of thing. But since I've changed to sort of this active grey, whatever they call it, I find it more relaxing. So I think I'm going to keep it here actually. So there was a second entry long there, which I don't think was a bad trade actually. I'm just not sure what's happening. We fill this gap, so I don't know whether we're going to make 3 attempts to push higher and then drop down, which is why I left this. We could have had a possible failure there, triggered it and come down. So as we fill that gap, I thought I would just wait and not take a trade there. But it, it worked. Well, it didn't work for my full points, I don't think, but I go for... Oh, it may have done. I know what it would have done. Yeah, what's that ATR? That ATR's up a little bit, but it would have worked just. But even so, when we had 3 touches of support up here and fill that gap, I just wanted to give it a little bit of time just in case we decided to drop back down. Another thing I'm doing as well is I tend to sort of 3 to 4 hour mark. But from around about 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, I started, as a lot of you probably know, I started with currency a little over 4.5 years ago. So I've been chatting with a British trader who teaches. I'll show you him just in case anybody ever decides to go with currency. His name's the Scruffy Trader. Now, I've been watching him on and off for about 4 months. He's actually,
okay, guys,
this guy, I don't think he'll mind me, this guy here. He's a really nice guy. And he's also been trading for 20 years. Already so I've been going through some of his modules, and he trades currency, more of a day trade than a swing trade. He trades the hour chart. It's obviously a little bit slower, but he's very good at what he does. He talks about pounds and pence, not tens of thousands of dollars. But they do a live Zoom call once a day, every day. And every time you chat with him in the Discord and that, he gets straight back to you. So I really like him. I love his attitude towards trading. He's got a no-nonsense, no bullshit attitude. I got no time for gamblers, no time for, I like that kind of attitude. And I've been going through his modules, and I like him. I like him, so I'm just going through this at the moment, maybe to trade an hour or 2 earlier on in the day, because obviously I've got that time when I get up, say 8 o'clock in the morning till about 1:30 in the afternoon. So that's kind of what I'm doing as well. Just sort of, I peter my hopes of a higher low. It's kind of hard to trust it being arranged. Yeah, it's hard to know whether this thing's going to go up. It certainly could, but we are finding some support. We fill that gap, so you may go long, and this thing may decide to stop you out there, stop you out there. Depends how you're looking at this. It's probably not the worst trade in the world, but it's just something about this I'm a little bit uncertain of. And the simple answer is, if there's something you're not sure about, leave it alone. So I'm just sitting tight here. It may trigger and come down. It's a tough one here. So I have put in for a payment as well, only $600 on one of my accounts. Another trade on another account, I'll be able to put a payment in as well. So I'm starting to get my accounts up okay at the moment. So I'm not paying too much attention to the money. I'm just playing the game. Yeah, so if you'd have taken that, you'd have got stitched. There's no way that's not going to stop that green bar out. I can't see it. Would I want to take a short here? Not really, because it's chopping. It may trigger me, come down, and then push up. But if you took that trade there, it's almost definitely going to get stopped out. Yeah, there's no way that's going to trigger there. And so yeah, so it's just a little bit unsure about what's going on at the moment. Looks like 2 legs, so maybe this is coming down. I didn't want to take that because there's a little bit of support. You just never know quite what's going to happen. It's a bit too early in the day, really, to start making decisions like that. So maybe there's something like that. If we had a lower high from here, below that here, I may have a go at that, because there's bound to be some stops there, but I don't think it's going to pull back. I think it's just going to push down. It is a second entry short. Yeah, I thought as much. It'll push below there, I'm pretty sure of it, before it pulls back. I don't know how much it went for. So let's say there was 2 1/4, so I'd want to get out there, I think. So it has broken below there. I go for 3 1/4. Now, is it going to make it? Probably, but that for me is an interesting target. It's kind of a second entry long off the bottom. So, excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. So it would have comfortably worked. I wouldn't have waited for the full amount. That would have been my target, because you just never know. But that did what I expected it to. I didn't think it would pull back. It's a shame. I think Dan, did Dan take that one? Took the second entry short. Yeah, he did. I just wanted to give that a bit of time. You never quite know. It is chopping a little bit at the moment. I was waiting for the lower high, which unfortunately we didn't get. We did make plenty of attempts to go higher, so I think there's a good chance it's going to work. But it is still a little bit congested there, which is why I thought I'd wait for the lower high. But there you go. A simple answer is if you're not sure about something, always best to kind of leave it alone. So it did come down. Yeah, quite a nice move actually. So what are we doing here? I think I'm going to put that there like that for now, because this is looking quite rangy to me. Let's just take that down a bit. So now let's see if we can get 2 legs up there and test this area here. So we've had a push down from it. There is some support there. Which we've kind of, I'd like to test this underside. We got a leg down, a bit of a correction. See what happens. maybe a two-tiered channel there. I like the way it's respecting that. Couple of pushes up, click the top of this two-tiered channel, test the underside of this little box here. Need a little push up here and then a drop, I think. So I'll be looking for a lower high if we can keep bearish there. Obviously not. Yeah, actually, Dan's just posted that. He is looking at that as well. So he did take that one. I just had that, unfortunately, so I think that's probably like trouble is it did start to go sideways. If I wouldn't have had that, I may have taken that one. Trouble is it's still a little bit congested. That's what makes me a little bit concerned. Okay, that's just cleared any liquidity along there. Ticked above all of that lot, so Hey Sam, how you doing, buddy? Thank you, mate. It's been warm in the UK this last week. I think we had 32 degrees centigrade where I was yesterday, which for the UK, that's pretty warm. 38, I think 37, 38 is the highest we've ever had on record. So 32, it's a quite a warm day that was, so I did spend quite a bit of time in the pool. And that air conditioning unit we bought last year has certainly taken a battering. Best thing I ever bought, that. Best 200 odd pound I ever bought, that air conditioning unit. That'll make a difference. We've had it going all night. It's been amazing. Exponential, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, if you're in the UK and you're just suffering with a fan and you can't sleep at night, spend $250 on an air conditioning unit, put the pipe out the window. I just got a piece of Perspex, put the pipe to it, cut it out, glued it in, put a couple of little bolts, and then just Velcroed the Perspex into the window. Oh, what a difference. Okay, so this is looking like a range what I like. We've cleared any liquidity. We've had a channel break, new high, cleared any possible liquidity. We can get a push down below that EMA. I think there's a good chance this is going to continue down. I like the fact we've cleared any possible liquidity. Having said that, there's probably likely going to be liquidity up there. So whether we get up there or not, who knows? But I would wait for a lower high below that EMA, I think, and that may interest me. Yeah, I was just getting a bit of headaches in the evening after I've been trading for a while. And I think they had some kind of tech guy at where my wife works. She works in health and well-being, and she spends half her life on computers. And he recommended, they just chatted, he recommended changing it to a darker screen instead of a white. If you're staring at white screens, it can't be great for you, can it? I know they have the issues with blue light and all that, but I did find I was getting to the end of the day like this. So it's definitely more, I can just look at this now and there's no hint of, strain on my eyes. Definitely more relaxing. Took a bit to get used to, but I kind of like it. So I'll be looking for a failure here. So we've ticked above that green bar. I'd like to come down here, give us a bullish bar on the EMA and trigger and catch a failure off it. I like the fact that we've cleared out any liquidity there. So we have broken the highs of the day. So there's no guarantees it's going to do that, but that's kind of what I'm hoping is going to happen. Better for your eyes. Absolutely. I mean, if you spend 4 hours a day, I mean, I probably trade on average 4 hours a day. And when you're staring at, I think it's even worse in the winter as well, because obviously it's getting dark here at 4 o'clock in the UK. So if I'm trading till 6:30 or 6 o'clock, you got 2 hours with everything sort of dark and bright lights. But right, let's see if we get a second entry long here. I'm still expecting this to come down because this is looking very rangy to me. We've got this move up. Move down, see if we can get this to go bullish and then maybe catch a failure. I certainly wouldn't want to go long into this just in case. What's the ATR? Oh, it's under 3. I'm still only on one contract at the moment. Just check.
Order submitted.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, so Yeah, a few people took the lower high. Trouble is, there wasn't much room to the EMA. I want to give this the benefit of the doubt. There's always a possibility it could continue up. There may be something larger. It's a bit too early at the moment, but there may be something larger. So I wouldn't want to jump into that lower high. It hasn't gone very far as it happens. Just bring that down a fraction. Oh. I'd like that to finish slightly bullish. Okay, so that's a doji. Okay, let's just
order cancelled.
So my guess is this is probably going to come down, channel break new high, cleared any liquidity. There's nothing there really. I didn't want to do that. There's no room to that EMA. Yeah, there's nothing. There's a couple of ticks at that. You don't know it's going to do that. I'm guessing it might do, but what I think and what I'm quite sure are two different things. So that's how you're doing. Second entry, long failure. That's what I was hoping we have here. We still may get one. I always prefer, failures. I mean, technically it's a failure, but failures are much better when they trigger off a bullish bar, so you know you're going to have longs in. I know it. You can still trade it. But now we're below that in. We've pushed below and we've gone sideways there. There's a doji which you stayed below and it's crossed over and dropped. Yeah, Dan didn't take the lower high. It's too close to that EMA, really. You want a little bit of space. Mac marked those and he will talk about making sure you got enough space. There's only a couple of ticks. I go for obviously a bit more than that. So you just never know. It's coming. Let's hope so, mate. So Marco took it. It's just, I mean, it's likely going to come down, but for me, I think really it's got to close up here. It's got to give you some space, or at least so you can bring your stop down there and put it below there. Trouble is, you bring your stop down there. As soon as this one closes, that one drops, but pops up, clears out your stop anyway. So, if you're scalping a point, then you may. But there's literally two ticks, so it's not enough really. There is that possibility if I keep those tops tight that works. It does. Works at the bottom as well, actually. It's a bit sideways here. There's nothing you can. Unfortunately, it hasn't triggered above there or anything. Nothing you can really do there, unfortunately. Does look like it's starting to fit now. So if this is a channel or a two-tiered channel with a break, I'd expect it to get down to this level. Now there looks like there's some support there. There is. So bounce. I did look at that one. Trouble is, it's a little bit sideways. You never quite know whether we're going to get a sweep down. There was kind of a leg there. You never know whether we're going to have another leg that's going to take that level out. But I think there's a good chance price gets down to this area here. So a decent setup here, which is going to have to be a break, really. There's nothing you can really do here, unfortunately. Kind of looks like it's coming down, but we need more than just looks, really. Does seem to be some form of support there. There's probably... There's definitely a little bit of support there. So if we can push above, have that second entry short push above it, come bearish. I expect this to break above here. There is some liquidity above there. Maybe not here, but I'm looking at someone who's taken a trade and his stops above there. So I'd expect that to push above there. Makes perfect sense. So I'll be surprised if price doesn't get above there. Now that kind of looks like a hidden second entry short. We've taken out any possible liquidity there. The next lot will be up here. Can't see that happening. So I wouldn't take a trade here, but I would possibly take a lower high. Trouble is, we may get a triple test, so a lower high may lead to a stop out and a triple test. I'm just going to be patient here. But I think there's a good chance we make a second leg down, which will take us down to this level. So if we put that there and put that around about there, which is kind of where I expect it to be, it may push a little bit higher. I wouldn't take that. It's a tick off a doji, so there's still some little bit uncertainty there. So this may give us a first entry. Let's see if we get a second entry, another push above, then we would get 1, 2, 3. Then that will be a triple test, a second entry short, clear out of all that, and then hopefully another leg down. So there's the first entry. So let's keep his fingers crossed. That is easy pickings, I think. It has triggered. I can't see many traders taking that, but it is. I'd like to see a push up. That will give us 1, 2, 3, triple test. Then we may get this leg down. So we shall see. So I'm just going to get an order ready.
Order submitted.
Just in case. We got no news, have we? No. That's the bit that concerns me. Okay, so that measured move down there would take us right to this, and we've almost hit it, so
Order cancelled.
it's just getting a little bit uncertain here. That hasn't triggered anyway, it's just getting a little bit choppy here. There is a lower high there, but it is a bit congested. I think it's likely to push down because there's a higher low there, but you need to wait for a failure, I think, because tough on this. Let's see if we can get a failure. So that's gone. This will go next, I think. Trouble is, there is a higher low, but we stem back and close above it, so you just don't know. There is a possible failure there. So I'm just going to have to nip off for 5 minutes shortly. I'll put it down as a break. I'm just going to drop my daughter off. It'll only be 5 minutes. So as soon as she's ready, I'll just nip off quickly. It's hard to trade this. It's quite choppy. Okay, excuse me just a second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, it's tough to trade this at the moment. It's just sort of chopping up and down a little bit. Speedy, how you doing, my friend? Are we moving up a bit? It's hard to say, really. It's not. There's certainly nothing obvious. Nah, not really. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Kenny, how you doing, mate? How you doing, bud? Ah, oh, Jimmy. It's hard to know what to do here. Can't really short here just yet, I don't think. It's too early. It does seem to be creeping up. Got the low here, then there, then there, then there. We didn't get down here. So it does slowly seem to start creeping up. Why did I? I was just getting headaches in the evening. When I'd kind of been streaming for a long time. Trouble is, I got 4 screens here, and when you're glaring at white screens, my wife says she was watching me trade a couple of weeks ago, and I was like this. So since I've changed to black, just much more relaxing. You can just look. Yeah, especially if you're looking at it, it's glaring at it and I've gone up to wide screens. I've got 2 wide screens here, so it's quite a lot of white glaring at your face. So I do find this more relaxing. My eyes seem more relaxed now. I don't feel like I'm squinting a little bit. So I don't know what's going on here. There is kind of a slightly bullish feel. We've pushed up and we've kind of bounced a couple of times. We didn't get down to these lows. I thought we may have a leg and a leg down, but as we broke these lows for this channel down, the market just turned and up it went strong. So my gut feeling is it's probably going to continue up. How far it goes is obviously another matter, but yes. Trouble is, a lot of this is guesswork, really, isn't it? But yeah, I expected this to come down lower, but it didn't. As soon as it broke those lows, woof, it just turned and up it went. Just coming off work, mate. Good on you. Yum 10. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Possibly something like that. It's just a little bit too early to tell, isn't it? But we had a small breakout here, a little channel with a break, new low, and we just turned and straight away we're out here. What I will say is, looking at this from Friday, we had kind of what I like to do is when I'm looking at something, just be interested in what I think is going to happen. But we were kind of doing that, weren't we? So when we had a break, I thought there's a good chance we get back into this lot here. Obviously, I didn't expect that that big kind of move down, but we had that big gap, didn't we? We had a couple of pullbacks and then new low, and then we had a good strong, You know, this is the type of thing that if I went in around 8 o'clock this morning, I'd have seen that. Sometimes I see that a lot, and usually it's the low of the day, and it's a big, strong move off there. So, I mean, if you'd have bought there, and you know what I mean, the trouble is it's easy when you know, but I often see that a few pushes down, and then kind of like a double bottom and a big, strong bar. But I mean, this thing coming down here, there's bound to be liquidity there, isn't there? So it does look like we may start. It's kind of got a bullish feel to it. That's as much as I can draw from this really at the moment. It's not the easiest of days, but I will say we are slowly making higher lows and higher highs. So based on what little bit of information we've got, does look like it's kind of working up. All-time highs, I think they're there, aren't they? Or are they a bit further back? It's hard to tell. And not only that, we have had 2 legs. That looks pretty much like a measured leg. So from there to there, I bet it's not far off. Yeah, well, there's that high there. So yeah, more or less a measured leg, a leg and a leg. So I think there's a good chance this thing does slowly grind up. Let's have a look at the daily. Yeah, so a couple of days previous. So let's have a look at this daily. It does look like a couple of legs. Trouble is, I won't want to trade this long. It's way too far for that EMA. So you don't know whether we're just going to maybe chop a little bit sideways there. Yeah, it doesn't really give us a lot, does it? Big move up like that. We are kind of, well, I suppose Mac would say overbought, but we do consolidate a little bit, so that sort of slows things down a little bit. But we could come back to this EMA, couldn't we? We're a bit far away from it now. We had that move up, then back to it, then up and back to it. So if I was going to guess, it would more likely get close to that EMA before it gets much higher. But that's just, call it an educate guess really, so it doesn't really give us much. I hate it when it does that. So we're out the top and then we're back in temporarily, I think. Up, top, out, back to the EMA. It's hard to say. See, we do seem to be making higher highs and higher lows. Trouble is, it's very easy to trust that and think this is going up and then down it comes. It's kind of on the, is it going to go up or is it going to come down? It's on the verge really, isn't it? There is 1 or 2 channels I can see, but nothing that I would scream at. I like that. Possible. It's just, it's a bit too vague really, I think. And not only that, if you are, I mean, if we look at the bottoms here, we've got a bottom there, bottom there, bottom there. So it makes sense that this thing may get down to kind of here, but once it does get to there, is it going to flush that out? Is it going to come down to these lows? Is it going to, because we've had a break above this range, is it going to come down below there? No idea. There is a lot of this lately, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of chopping around. It's not super clear. It's just kind of part of it really, isn't it? There's just not a lot you can do. Trouble is, it can lead to a little bit impatience. So I'm trying to just think, sod thinking about taking trades, wait for one to pop up. Yeah, so you go for a couple of days without a trade. It's not the end of the world. Better to wait a couple of days to get a good trade than take a risk and end up being one behind, because you're behind then, aren't you? You're kind of playing catch up, if you like. So channel with a break and a new low. So I'll tell you what I will do. Let's just connect the tops, see if this helps us at all. Not really, does it? No, it's a bit too sideways rather than up. So, there's not really much we can do there. Might be one and done, mate. I'll tell you what, I rarely take a second trade if I take a winner. So it's not a bad option, mate. One and done in this current market, the way the conditions are at the moment, if you can get a winning trade, you've done all right, I think, mate. So I think sometimes it's a good idea. Maybe if you want to do the screen time, just switch on to a sim or put your feet up, play a bit of music or whatever. But at least you know you're done for the day. You've made a profit for the day. So I don't think it's a bad option. So channel break, new low. Let's see what happens here. We haven't made a little kind of double bottom there, but trouble is it's very easy to get sucked into going long from here, and all of a sudden this thing decides to drop. So it's not super clear. It has got a slightly bullish feel to it, but only slightly. Most of this top, with the exception of the two bounces there, are just sort of up, down, up, down, up, down. And we only got... We broke the low of that channel literally by a couple of ticks, and it turned on the spot and pushed up. So if it gets below here, then I think there's a good chance it gets down here. It may even break out the bottom. Often when we get a break, as we know, we get a break above or a break outside a range. We often get one at the opposite end. $100 a day is brilliant. It's potentially $2,000 a month, which is what you can take out of a typical prop account. And even if you can do half of that with 10 accounts, you can make one out of a nice living. So I definitely got into the habit of aiming too high, too quick, and getting greedy rather than thinking about regular small amounts. The trouble is the space we're in. You know, when you link to some of these prop firms like Apex and Take Profit Trader, and they openly put down lists of the amounts of money that people have been paid, and we all know, you know, every month there's at least half a dozen people with $100, $200, $300,000. It's very easy to get blinded by the dollar signs and try to take risks and try to rush. It really gets you into bad habits, and it certainly got me into bad habits. I'm very aware of it now, and I think I've taken a step back, and I'm not concerned too much about taking stupid risks and trying to get greedy. I'm trying to just focus on playing the game, and the game is we sit here patiently till we see a setup, we take it, whether it wins or lose, we learn from it and move on. That's kind of what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. The process, when you think about it, is very simple. Now, you know, before you've had some experience, it's very easy to get sort of tied up in the emotions, but I am kind of just focusing on the game a little bit rather than seeing the dollar signs. But the trouble is, it's that publicized about the amount of money. You know, there's people on YouTube. You see people like... you know, Alpine. There was a big whirlwind around Alpine, wasn't there, when he was making $60,000, $80,000 a month, which, to be honest with you, is huge amounts of money, really, to 99% of us. And it's very easy to get sucked into that excitement of thinking, let's go big, let's go big. And you just end up getting knocked on your ass hundreds of times. I mean, I've done over 1,000 failed evaluations just because I thought, you know, if I keep pushing and pushing and throwing money at it, it's going to come my way. And the fact is, at some point you get to the stage where you realise it does not work. You just have to sit here and play the game. It's very easy to get impatient in this business, isn't it? And you hear about all these stories of all these people earning money and you want a slice of it and you just think, you know, we see, Nutty and Alpine taking dozens and dozens of evaluations and PAs every time they fail them, and they jump back on, and you kind of get sucked into that thought process and mindset of that's the way to do it, when it's really not. $50 to $100. I mean, $100 a day, I think, is a fantastic amount. If you can get something close to that, and even if you only get an average of $50 a day, if you've got 10 accounts, that's over $100,000 a year. It's a huge amount of money, really. And if you can regularly do that, then you can slowly scale up. So there's plenty of scope and time to slowly grow. But trying to run before you can walk, you're just going to constantly be falling and scraping your knees, and it's just an expensive, unhappy way to learn. Took me a long time to start to figure out. I've only really sort of over the last sort of month or two started seeing it more like that, and not worrying so much. That's why I've considered not streaming it. I just find it, if you can just relax, you don't get so het up in the moment and the excitement of it, and treat it more not like an exciting fairground ride or a casino roll of the dice, more like a boring job, which kind of it should be, really. And once you leave all that excitement behind, you just turn up to your normal boring job, do your job, and that's it. And that's kind of where I want to be. Just like a normal job. You turn up, you do it, and you go home. You forget about it and go home. So we do seem to have found that support here. I put that in earlier. We had a bounce there, new low, and then a bounce and took off. Channel break, new low, 2 pushes to a new low. Okay, I think there's a good chance this goes up. Come down, we push up, we come down, we push up. That's just no entry. technically that's a failure. Trouble is, we're at the top of this move, so there's nothing you can really do there, unfortunately. May push up, but you got to sit this out, I think, at the moment, just to figure out what it wants to do. Starting to look a little bit more sideways. I'm looking at a couple of people have got kind of like a kind of this type of thing, but I'm not so sure. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. This section here looks more sideways, so I'm not thinking about taking long. I think long's probably where it's going, but I think it's a bit too early. So there was a bearish bar there which triggered, pushed up, but it didn't stop it out. Now this is pushing up again. Maybe it will, but just stacking up now. Up across and up. I think that's probably lightly. There's no entry there anyway. Okay, folks, I've got to take my daughter into town. So I might as well finish the stream there. We'll be going about an hour and 10 minutes. So I'll leave you guys to it. So best of luck. I'll be back same time tomorrow and we'll catch up a little bit more. So best of luck. Have a good evening. Stay safe. And we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.